Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? There's no such thing as bad publicity. During the late 1800s in France, a concept arose called succès de scandale, which translates to success of scandal. Yes, I speak French. Where do you think my name comes from, dumbass? Essentially, it's where the success of art can be attributed to the controversy of its content, which people naturally get curious about. This led to a pretty famous quote by Oscar Wilde. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. Take Kanye West, for example, who's no stranger to being talked about. In 2007, him and 50 Cent started a feud about their albums releasing on the same day. 50 even took it as far as saying that he would retire if his sales were lower than Kanye's. Well, Kanye's album Graduation sold 2.7 million units in the US, which is a full million higher than 808s and Heartbreaks sold the next year. And 50 managed to sell twice as many albums than he did the next year. He later admitted in 2012, "We didn't have no beef at all. It was just great marketing." In comes Tekashi 6ix9ine with his rainbow hair and peculiar tattoos, let's call them. In the sticky yeah! 6ix9ine was unknown to most casual rap fans until about late 2017, as he used the strength of social media promotion to turn his controversial image into a unique brand identity. Whether it was his run-ins with the law, club altercations, gang fights, robberies, social media beef, it all managed to get his name out there at a rapid pace. Or as the New York Times put it, his rise in 2017/2018 was meteoric. That little nugget of information is important because a study from Stanford found that new authors can see their sales grow by 33% just by being mentioned in the New York Times, even if the reviews are all negative. That's likely because as time goes by, consumers may not remember the context in which they were made aware of the book, just that it looks familiar to them. So for 6ix9ine, despite generally negative critical reception, his album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, just behind Travis Scott's Astroworld, with the lead single Gummo reaching platinum. Can you see all the dots connecting here? Huh? Well, I'm not done, because it was on the set of the video shoot for the song Gummo where 6ix9ine met Shotty, the founder of Treyway Entertainment and a member of the Trey 9 gang. With Shotty as his new unofficial manager, 6ix9ine kept leaning more and more into the gang lifestyle, up until November 2018 when he was arrested for RICO charges. Facing up to 47 years in prison, 6ix9ine agreed to testify against his fellow gang members. Of all the negatives, snitching is the most negative to ever negate. So if there's no such thing as bad publicity, then after his 2 years in prison, when he got out, he must have been more popular than ever, right? No, wrong. Well, kinda. His single called Trolls, released in June of 2020, reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, which was a first for him. However, the song featured Nicki Minaj, who was super popular at the time, and it actually fell all the way to number 34 in its second week, which broke the record for the largest fall from number 1. His next single, Ya Ya, debuted at, can you guess? Number 99 in its first week, and then obviously fell out the next week. 6ix9ine was never able to get anywhere near the level of success that he had before with his music. So with that in mind, let me add a caveat to our saying. There's no such thing as bad publicity unless it's in direct conflict with the person you portray yourself to be. By snitching on his own gang, 6ix9ine came off as a fraud, and it is very hard to come back from that. We can actually look at 50 Cent again for another example. The most well-known beef of his career is obviously with Ja Rule, who at the start of the feud was at the peak of his career and arguably more popular than 50 Cent. However, in 2003, Ja actually invited 50 to sit down with him and have a talk with a minister on live television. 50 declined the invite, but for some reason, Ja decided to have it anyway and named it Bring the Peace. He came off very soft in the interview, which was in direct conflict with the thug image that he had built for himself, especially considering he was signed to a label called Murder Inc. Consumers noticed, and his next album sold only a third as much as his previous one did, for a total of 468,000 units. As for 50, his album in 2003, Get Rich or Die Trying, sold 8.4 million units in the US and is now considered a classic. Ja's career unfortunately never recovered from that historic L.
Are we ready? I guess not.
Listen, there are a ton of what happened to 6 9 videos out there on YouTube, and they all pretty much agree on the same thing. People got sick of his antics, which became even more blatant as the bills started piling up. But I mean, he built his career on antics, so I think we dug a little bit deeper than that today. Now, normally I make these videos on rappers from decades ago who haven't been around in a very long time, whereas 6 9 rose to fame not even 10 years ago. So he's not quite a forgotten artist, but his case is so unique, I just felt like it would make an interesting video. But more importantly, I feel like making a 6 9 beat today, so let's do that. For 6 9 beat, I'm gonna start with a higher tempo, let's say 188. We're gonna work in double time, and I'm gonna lay down a piano first. And my piano is gonna be like a 3-course meal. The bass notes are the appetizer, then an arpeggio is gonna be the main course, and then the top line is gonna be the dessert. Went ahead and copied that exact same pattern into a synth. This is what it sounds like. But I want it to be more unique. I want it to sound glitchy and warped and dark and weird. But I don't have gross beat or shaper box or anything like that. So I have to be creative with the effects chain that I put on this. So the first thing I did is added a little bit of chorus by using Magic Switch by Baby Audio. Next, I'm using Wasted Space for my reverb, which has that more like glitchy, digital, like open space reverb that I'm looking for. Now this is the key piece right here. I have a bunch of effects plugins from Audio Damage, which I downloaded a long time ago and I hardly ever use. This is their sequencer, which is going to completely change the shape and pattern of the sound here, which you're going to hear in about 1 second, and also put on an EQ to cut out a little bit of the highs and the low end as well. So remember, this is the dry sample. Now with all those effects that I showed you, and that's going to add such a cool texture sitting behind that piano. It's going to sound great. Speaking of texture, I also added a pad to add a little bit of spice on the high end, and I have some low end as well. Here are my drums. To make it a 6 9 beat, don't forget that accent snare, and just go absolutely buck wild with those hi-hats. Put rolls wherever you want. Nothing too special with the 808 here. I just wanted more low end. However, I really want that kick to punch through the mix, so I added some side chaining to this. To do this, you can add the Akai Mother Ducker, I can't believe they called it that, to the effects chain in your 808 program. Then all you need to do is go to your drums, select your kick, select pad channel, and add Mother Ducker input. I went ahead and arranged the beat, and as I was arranging it, I added a bell to the verse in the second half. And sounds great. And at the same time, I pitched the piano down and I'm filtering it. So let's listen together.